I've managed and scaled multiple sales teams to six figures and beyond, and in this video, I sit down with a business owner who's currently stuck at 20 to 30K per month. I've given him the exact blueprint he needs in order to actually scale to his first 100K month and consistently do that in the future. So the main things that we break down is one, the biggest bottleneck, which is the conversion within a studying process that's only at 2% when it should be at 20%, along with the qualification process that's still allowing unqualified leads onto the calendar. But more importantly, the main thing is the fact that he's not able to manage his team properly and identify bottlenecks, come up with solutions, and understand what is even causing these bottlenecks in the first place. So, if you're not a six-figure a month business owner yourself, you're probably having one of these specific issues come up and you probably don't see it. So, watch this video till the end because the bottlenecks you don't see are the ones that are costing your business the most money. Going into conversions a little bit.
Yeah.
On average, how many conversations are you guys having per day? And then how many calls are you guys booking per day?
Yes. So that's the one of the issue we have right now, right? So for the last weeks, I have been focusing on one thing, which is how can I get at least 100 uh, lead assigned to setters. That's the only thing that I have been focusing on, right? And I think I have achieved that where I can assign, let's say, 100 leads to setter, right? Now, now the basically the issue is call booking, meaning so if I'm getting 100 leads assigned to the setters, I think a good rate will be at least 5 to 10 calls booked a day, probably, right?
I
And I'm
mean,
not seeing that basically.
okay. I mean, industry standard is 5%, but from the current offer and a bunch of other offers that we have under management, some are like 20% new combo to qualified combo percentage, meaning, okay,
Nice.
the amount of new combos that we have, whether they be
Yeah.
qualified, unqualified, just in total, how many of
Yeah.
those people can we book in? So if we have 10 people, we book in 10, two people. If we have 100 people, we book in 20 people. It really comes down to one, the reason why the conversion rate is not where it needs to be. Before I go into that, what do you think is the actual conversion rate? If the setters had 100 conversations, how many of them would turn into book calls?
Yeah. So basically for the last few days, let me pull up my sheet. So yeah, so basically for the last few days, we're getting like 80, 90, 100 new convos, right?
Okay.
And then we're getting like every single day, like 80, 100, something 90 total combined with two setter. And then we're getting like one, two, sometimes five in a good day, like that. So
So,
basically like one, two is kind of like the average, and then three, four, five a day, something like that.
and then from, let's say, two to five calls that are booked in every single day, how many of them are actually qualified? Because the metric new
Yes.
combo to qualified combo percentage is not new combo to booked call percentage. It's new combo to qualified combo percentage to qualified call percentage. So what would that be out of that ratio of two to five?
Can you say that again?
Out of the two to five calls that are getting booked, how many of them are actually qualified intent wise and they have the money as well?
Yes. So basically like that is also something that I'm working on, right? Because like my focus was basically just getting the leads in the first place. And now like I'm just focusing on the setting part, right? So uh so we had two offer, $5,800 and then 3K. And the 3K offer was just I think just distracting the seller, right? And I just killed that offer and just have we have like one which is $1,500 because now like they will know like if someone says, oh, I'm making 2K a month or 3K a month, they will hard qualify them to see like how much money they have rather than trying to book in for, let's say, oh, they might be fit for 3K, right? And they realize on the call like they might not have. So one action I took was just kill that 3K. Now they'll be try to a little bit, if someone is making less money, they will try to a little bit hard qualify, right? And then that's what I'm gonna do basically, and I'm gonna do that and then track it. But right now, so for the last few days, I have been telling them to like make sure that the people who are on the call are qualified. So it's like in the last uh 3 4 days, like 8 qualified calls was booked, 2 call closed, and then 2 were not qualified, and 1 was basically financial not disclosed on the sales call, also in the setting call. So it's like probably not qualified or think about. The seller did not qualified, closer also did not know like how much money they had. So it's like 8 call booked qualified, 2 non-qualified, 2 close in the last 5 days or something.
Okay.
Not 5 days, probably 3 4 days.
Then the main issue comes down to the fact of if they're qualified, why are they getting on the calendar? Because the way that we approach it is okay, if we know the person doesn't have the money, they may have the intent, all the intent in the world. But if they jump on the call not being able to pay, not only is that a waste of time for the closer, but it is a
Yeah.
waste of time for them because they're just in hopeful wishing where they're like, I want to get started, but then they can't. Then I want to understand like how are you guys qualifying right now in the setting process? Give me perspective on
Yes. Yes. So basically, so the reason why I left it on sales call on the closer calendar is I thought probably we can sell 3K because we have 5 payment plan for 3K, and turns out like it's just wasting closer's time. So I'm just not gonna do that anymore, right? So starting today, I'm gonna be really hard on like not having people on the calendar, just not wasting time, for example, right? And then what was the question again?
how are you guys qualifying in the setting process
Yes,
to make sure they
yes,
don't get on the calendar unqualified?
yeah. So one thing that I look for, so this is also I'm doing manually, and I'll love your perspective on this, right? So let me share my screen.
Sure.
So I'm not even sure like if I should be doing this or not doing this or I don't know. So I'm just like doing it, which is this. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So basically, for example, we do Instagram Reel inbound, we do Instagram stories sequence, and then inbound from there, and then also follower. Like if anyone follow, we just message. It sends a message automatically, and then we get a response, right? For example, this one. So how I qualify is, let's say any inbound we get, it comes in ManyChat, right? And then I just look at the profile, for example. So Anurag, okay, so it's a private profile, Indian. I'm not gonna even assign to setter. So it's like disqualified, right? So first message is hey, because we get a lot of response. And then after that, what I do, so thing that I look for is one is that profile has to be like in a sense that looks good because we're selling traders how to make money from content. So at least has to make sense, right? So if you look at the leads that I have assigned to, for example, Elena, let's say, I just see like, okay, there's some content, right? I know like if this person has money, good fit for the program. And same thing with, for example, this. Okay, so this is probably unqualified because I was trying to sell for 3K. So I'll disqualify and remove today. But so basically, like what I do is I just look at it, check the profile, and then assign. And then I also check like if the lead is from uh, like third world countries or developing countries, right? Like if the lead is from like let's say India, Pakistan, or sometime it's if it's like let's say Portugal, it's everything
Yeah.
is Spanish. I don't uh I don't basically assign them, right?
One thing I want to say,
Go ahead.
you shouldn't be having to do that. Transparently, when it comes to like auto assigning, identifying who's qualified, who's not,
Yeah,
obviously it allows you to see how everything's performing, but the setter should be doing that. Because on the current offer that's doing anywhere between 80K a month to 100K per month USD, The
Yeah.
setters are the one who are okay, looking at the person's profile, understanding, hey, does this person look qualified? Do they not? And then if they're not qualified, they leave them alone. In my opinion, that's very low leverage for you to do. I feel like there's
Hmm.
more higher leverage things you can do. It's
Yeah.
just obviously a lot of setters, when you say, hey, qualify these people, the current setters most likely are going to be against it, like that girl that you fired or she left, right? But it's about positioning it in the right way that they understand this is the thing that you need to be doing. Because with setters, the things that they need to be doing is as soon as a follower comes through, that's their responsibility. Because
Yeah.
like you are making money from it. You are the person who's messaging them. That's one piece of feedback. Okay, so you're qualifying people based on profile before the lead setters even get it. But then
Yeah.
the issue of them not having the money is still prevalent there. I want to
Yes.
understand like so the conversation starts. What is the first
Yes.
question you ask? And then how do you qualify?
Yes. So this is also something I'll love your feedback on, which is basically I'm gonna share my so uh basically let's say if someone messages uh I just we just have something like, hey, appreciate the follow, and are you here for content or are you looking for brand deals? And are you trying to make money from brand deals? And then uh, are you doing content full time or do you have a job? And where in the world are you? Uh, what's the goal? What are you bringing in? And this is the script that I got from the previous person,
Yeah.
the agency. And from my perspective, what I think is it's a lot of question that should not be a lot of question. So I also need your perspective on this because for me, like 12 question is a lot on DM, I think.
It depends on the context of the conversation. There are some combos where it's needed, but that's very, very
Yeah.
unlikely. A lot of the combos are being had on the other offers that we manage is anywhere between like 5 to 6 questions. But let's look at the actual questions themselves because I do have feedback on that. One, you guys are asking the work situation and where they're located separately. I'd ask it in one go. Hey, by the way, what is it that you do for work right now? Oh, just to get a better understanding of your situation. What do you do for work right now? Where are you from? Kill two birds with one stone by just asking a question like that. And you see the context that I use beforehand by saying, just so I understand, just to see, you can even say, just to see how I can help based on your current situation. Where are you from? What do you do for work? It's positioned in their best interest in that scenario. Now you don't have to ask two questions. It's one
Mhm.
question. And it even
Yeah.
sounds better as well. And it feels like, okay, this person is trying to help me. In terms of the goal question, what's the goal for you? Like, where do you want to? We can that's fine. Then the current income question, what are you bringing in monthly? I would change it to something different, like ideally, how much are you looking to make from XYZ business model for it to match your current income, just so I can see if it's realistic. The
Mm.
thought process is it's
That
an indirect way.
yeah, to realize like how much money they have. They're making basically.
And the keywords I use is match. So it's like I'm future pacing them in the sense of this is how much you want to make from UGC, but indirectly I'm qualifying them by asking them how much is it to match. And then down
Yeah.
there as well, you see the context that comes along, which is just so I can see if it's realistic. So it takes away all the sales resistance of them potentially not sharing the information with us. So
Yeah.
that's another thing I would change on that income question. When it comes to paying expansion, what's the biggest challenge? The one thing I want you to understand with these B2B, B2C leads, and I'll give you context, as a setter in the past, right? I've been a manager for close to a year at this point. I used to actually sell on a UGC offer, a very, very big one. His name's Andrew Shin. He lives in the
Hmm.
US. I don't know if you know of him, but the most important thing to these people that are looking to get started, which type of, before I even go into the answer, what type of people do you usually see? Is it people who are already doing it?
Getting started.
Okay. Then
So
this,
I don't think this question is even relevant because always their answer is I don't know where to start.
yeah, the way that I would change it and the framework I would follow specific to these people is an emotion-based framework that gets them to understand that we help and then we qualify. Right here, instead of asking what's the biggest thing holding you back, I would loop back into what they said about their goal. If they said, I want financial freedom, understand, okay, I know a lot of people want that financial freedom, but why is that important to you specifically? Oh, it's because of XYZ reason. And then they can drop their pain and everything. And this is the other thing as well. a lot of people who have money sometimes will not put the right amount on the form because you haven't built enough incentive, which makes it much more difficult. By you getting more emotion out of them, especially Sarah being a female herself, people are going to trust her. So are the girls going to trust her as well. So you have to play into that fact. And naturally, women are a lot more emotional. So the
Yeah,
questions that you ask here have to be more emotion based opposed to logic based. I
yeah,
wouldn't ask an obstacle question. The question that I would ask after going into what are you hoping to achieve? I want financial freedom. Why is that financial freedom specifically important to you? Or what does having that financial freedom look like to you? Asking those
yeah.
questions because they work very, very
Yeah,
well.
for them, it's more like I want to be able to travel and freedom. Yeah,
Then you can take a different angle of pain and be like, oh, what is it about your current situation that doesn't allow you to travel? Oh, my
exactly.
job,
Yeah.
right? It's still emotion based. But if it's
Hmm.
something like travel, which some people would think is insignificant, which for some people it's like the biggest thing, especially for females, right?
Yeah.
So you have to play into that factor. But then when it comes to the question that's being asked there, I wouldn't ask that sort of question. I'd rather ask them a solution-based question, especially if these leads are warm. Oh,
What
what do
have you
you
tried so far?
not necessarily. That's more of like a past situation question to find the obstacle indirectly by going into what have you tried before? Why do you feel like that hasn't worked? That's the question you can go into. But for these type of leads, the thing that works best is what do you feel like you need help with in order to actually see success with UGC? Oh, I
Mm,
need help with this, boom. And now when you propose the call, it's like, hey, tell you what, to see how I can help you get that XYZ guidance that you need, let's jump on a call. I could potentially see what sort of help I can provide. So the
nice.
angle you want to take with these type of leads, I know this ICP so well since I dealt with them myself, and that's how
Yeah.
I got to 5K a month as a setter. Through that
Yeah.
offer, scaling it to 100K, it really comes down to emotions and then just finding the solution and then from there positioning it in their best interest. Even as well, let's go down a little bit further. The pain expansion, I would even call that pain expansion. That's obstacle that you're trying to find. What is the biggest challenge? And honestly, if nothing changes, what does that look like for you? I would never consequence in the DM setting process
Yeah. Exactly.
because one, you're not in the position to not the cost of inaction, mainly because you haven't gotten all the emotion yet. The
Yeah.
consequence isn't gonna land as well because you only know oh, they want financial freedom, oh, they want to travel. Oh, from their perspective, right? Let's say they want to travel, and you ask them like, what happens if nothing changes and you're in the same position? What does that look like for you? Continue to work the 9 to 5. It feels like nothing has actually hit their chest. Of course, I wouldn't recommend that question. A good question I would recommend in the framework is a timeline question. How long have you been wanting XYZ?
Hmm.
And the thought process is you grab the emotion, like let's say they say I want to travel more. What is it about your current situation that doesn't allow you to travel? It's my job and just the amount of hours I have to work and blah blah blah. How long have you been wanting that freedom that would actually get you to where you want to be, where you're able to travel? 6 years. Now what we've done is we've amplified that emotion that's come along with it. And we have that
Hmm.
6 years, and we can then ask them, okay, since it's been 6 years, what do you feel like you need help with now? We're anchoring it by using that timeline in this scenario to make it hit even further. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Or even as well, let's say somebody says it's been 6 years, right? And a lot of these conversations don't have much urgency. A question you can ask is since it's been 6 years, why do you feel like now's the right time to actually get into something like UGC? Oh, because of this reason, this reason, this reason. Okay, now that you realize it's the right time to get into it because of these reasons, what do you feel like you need help with? Because
Hmm.
the things that you need in a setting process is incentive and trust. There's two ways you can build incentive and trust. With incentive, it comes down to the questions that you ask and the direction that you take it. In this framework right now, it doesn't create much incentive because we're not diving deep into the emotion. And we're asking questions that won't have the biggest impact because of questions like the cost of inaction and then the obstacle question, right? The trust part comes from relatability as well. How are the setters relating in these conversations? Is it just like, hey, just kind of relating a little bit, got you, I get where you're coming from. What does that look like in terms of relatability?
Uh, that's something I need to review. But it's like, so basically, one feedback I got is we had a previous setter, a guy setter, and he was just like a robot, just following the script that I gave, and it's like, not even like any, any kind of like human way, right? But one feedback I got from Sarah is Uh, I mean, these girls are doing good on the uh, what it is called, like personalizing a little bit and making it a little bit like girly, right? Because these are like girls. So I have to review. That's what I'm gonna do this week. But to give you an answer, uh, yeah, it's fucking sad to say, but I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah. If the thing that you have to understand as well, the reason why
yeah. So
relatability,
this is how it's how they're doing it, for example. So I think one thing would be obviously to break it up into text instead of everything in one. But basically, if someone says this, and then this, yeah,
do you see how small the texts that these people are sending in terms of
yeah,
responses compared to how
yeah,
much we're sending? That's something
yeah.
that we have to be very aware of in the sense of like go down to this conversation because go
Oh,
back to the Raven girl
yeah.
or Roger. You guys go up a little bit. How are you guys booking them? Are you sending them a link or manually booking them in?
Manually booking
Why?
because I don't know. I used to send calendar link, and they're saying to me that, uh, for example, this setter is saying from their previous job, like it was manually setting, and then the previous guy I used to work with, they also said me manually setting. So I'm just like sticking with that. But I'm like, what do you think?
Go down a little bit because I saw you guys talk about investment there as well. Go down. Then you guys talked about 2K set aside. The
Yeah.
reason why I wouldn't do that, especially in the DMs, is because it's going to create a shit ton of resistance. What I'd rather
Yes.
than with that offer that was doing 100K per month, that UGC offer that I was working on, we would send them the link. And with the link, it would have an investment question there, right? So let's say there's a good amount of information as well. This says, hey, how much can you invest to actually get started with UGC? Well, I can invest 0 to 1,000, 2 to 3, 3 to 5. What it does is it makes it more comfortable for them to actually tell us the real answer because it's just a form. But in this scenario, it feels like we're confronting them head on. And the other thing to
Yes.
understand as well is that the top of the conversation dictates how much trust we've built. If the relatability messages are not where they need to be and that you haven't built enough trust, they're not going to tell you, hey, I have 2K set aside to invest. Right? Because she mentioned she's making 6K a month. She's definitely qualified, transparently. Or what was it? Go up a little bit. I think she said somebody said they were making 6K a month. Yeah, there. I bring in 6K a month sometimes depending on sales. So she's fucking qualified. But the thing that threw her off is the fact that you guys are manually booking her in. It's not even an issue of manually booking her in. It's an issue of you guys saying this is the amount that you need to have in the DMs right then and there. If you guys want to run a triage process,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But
Yeah.
the thing that
So one thing is that I think it's probably because I told her in the morning to say this to qualify, but I think it's a bad move.
but the important thing is, do you see how why it's a bad move? Just because of the trust that's built right now.
Yes. So I will then let them book a call on the calendar link, and on the calendar link do the qualification
Absolutely. Like
rather
so
than asking.
yeah. And then if somebody says 0 to 500 or 0 to 1,000
Just
right now,
cancel it. And then
no,
just cancel it.
no.
Go ahead.
What I would do is I'd go back to the conversation and say, hey, by the way, just saw that you put 0 to 1,000. Is that correct or was that misclick? Some people will on purpose put 0 to 1,000 and they have some sort of uncertainty that you need to then handle. But
Mm.
what this does,
And then if it's true, then they will cancel basically.
yes. But the important thing is you won't just cancel them off the bat and leave them to the dust, right?
Give them free
The
resource or something.
keep them in the pipeline. But the biggest change you need to make right now is get people to book in through the Calendly form.
Yeah.
And then from there, the conversations do need a lot of work transparently, especially the relatability. Like nobody in real life
Yes.
uses three exclamation marks, two messages in a row. Perfect, dot, dot, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark,
Mm, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
exclamation mark. And this is just me looking at the one conversation. I can imagine this is happening with a lot of combos. If I show
Exactly.
you, I can
Yeah.
share my screen right now and I can just show you one of the offers that's doing 80K a month, right? What the conversations look like and how, let me share my screen real quick. But so far, does everything that I'm going over make sense? Because I
Yeah.
know I'm going over a lot.
Are you sharing your screen?
I'm just pulling up ManyChat.
Uh,
Okay, so this is one of the conversations. The guy that got booked in and he was qualified. As you can see, like, okay, the conversation starts at what's got you interested in wanting to make money online in the first place? Always thought about it, but didn't have a clue on what to start.
So, one question. So, can I ask you one question real quick?
Sure.
So, it should go up a little bit. So, who's sending that first message, for example?
The
Yeah, these
setter.
three, they have Instagram access.
No, this is ManyChat access.
I mean, how did they send the first message?
This is an inbound conversation specifically.
Oh, okay.
Even if it's an
Okay.
outbound conversation, the setter has access to IG. They outbound to them. And then what happens from there is the lead replies, and then he continues the conversation on ManyChat.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
But the main thing I want you to keep an eye on is like how much relatability and trust the setter is building in this scenario. Yo, good to see you want to smash it with making money online. Lead says, hey man, always thought about doing it, but didn't have a clue where to start or what I'm doing. And here I hear that, man, with all the noise online these days, it can be so hard to find the right information and guidance you need to actually get started with making money online. I'll be happy to show you how it all works. And then just to get a better understanding, what do you do for work right now? Oh, I'm a decorator, right? And then understanding what he's hoping to achieve.
Mm,
Relating here once again. Yeah, man, it can be ups and downs, hopefully to gain a consistent income and enjoy doing things for, enjoy doing something else for a living. Obviously, want to earn a lot more than I do now, enough to be comfortable and be able to look after my family. The
yeah.
reason why he gave us this level of response is one, because of the question that we asked, but the level of trust that was built up here through proper relatability. And one
Yeah.
thing that you have to understand is with relatability messages, a setter is not going to understand them within one explanation of you telling them to do so. So it's something you're constantly going to have to hammer and make them understand, hey, this is a human combo. You're speaking to a human at the end of the line, right?
Yeah.
And then here the setter relates to him again. Yeah, bro, I completely hear that, man. There's nothing more important than being able to look after your family, actually enjoy life, to be honest. We all know, we all get one short moment of time here. It's so important to make the most of it. And then how long? Lead again goes into, I've thought about it for a while, mate, but not sure what to do, how it works. Do you see how warm this person becomes because of the relatability messages and the questions that we ask?
Yeah.
And then here again, relating to him, same level. And then he keeps opening up the lead. And then what happens? Okay, booked in, commitment question, booked in, said yes, sent a link, done, mate. But that's the prime example of how conversations should look like when it comes to relatability. But the
Yeah.
other thing is qualification. The reason why qualification is an issue and you guys are not maximizing the conversion rate is because you're using manual booking where you're qualifying somebody right off the bat.
Yes.
So, biggest thing I do, I make the framework more emotion based, properly do that, and then change the booking so that it's not manual, but it's actually Calendly.
Hmm.
Of course, when it comes to like teaching the setters how to properly ask the right questions, it comes down to you reiterating the same thing. But of course, you also knowing how to do that. But that's why qualification is an issue. Because there's a lead right there that could have been booked in, but
Yeah.
the reason why she didn't book in.
I also saw that like right now while I was hearing this, I was like, okay, I see the problem. Yeah.
But the thing is like that's probably happened many, many times,
Exactly.
right?
Hmm.
And that's a lost opportunity. And these leads to a degree are warming. You guys have a shit ton of volume. I'll give you transparency. With this current offer that I have, we only get about 15 to 20 new combos. And we're booking in 5 to 10 qualified calls. And
Hmm.
you guys have 100.
Yeah.
You guys should be booking way more fucking calls. Easily.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, bro, that's the main things I wanted to go over in terms of feedback. Qualification. The other thing as well that Kettle talked about briefly, just because I got context from him, is these leads. Can you give me a breakdown on the post-booking process? That's another thing that's important. What does that look like?
So post-booking process is so basically right now we send a video that is old video that needs to be updated. And that's also on my to-do list is create a video like that explains who is Sarah, what is UGC and this opportunity, and then testimonial. So we have the testimonial. So I'm going to create like the two videos probably by tonight, like write a doc and then send to Sarah to film.
What's show up rate like for the offer?
Right now, it's 70%
Why do you feel like it's only 70%?
because these girls are like traveling all the time, and sometimes they forget the internet is not good and stuff. I think also it's also because the expectation, and that needs to be explained more clearly on the video after like post booking also.
Okay. I mean, the video is going to be made, but what are you guys currently doing right now to combat that in terms of expectation?
What do you mean by expectation?
So the main thing you mentioned is the reason why these people are likely not showing up is they need expectations set properly for what's going to happen in the future in terms of them jumping on a sales call, right?
Yeah,
Outside of the call or the ad sales asset that you guys are going to make the video itself,
yeah,
which is going to take a bit of time, I'd imagine a couple days, right?
yeah,
Between
yeah.
these next couple of days, what are you guys going to do to actually pre-handle that beforehand? If
Uh,
there's anything I
so
can push
Carol
you.
is also messaging them on WhatsApp and confirming. And then the setter is also like messaging like a hour before, hey, are you still good for the call?
Is there anything else happening in between that?
And then reminder from Calendly, text and text 3 times, and then email 3 times.
The reason I ask this is because with the post-booking process,
Yeah,
there's three steps. They watch the video, the ones that you guys are going to make, and then
yeah.
there's reminders. But there's just one other thing that people miss out on a lot, a casual conversation with the business owner. And I don't mean by the business owner jumping on a call, but through IG, because they followed the account for her and who she is. So
So
what I would do,
basically, call Sarah will call them, or what do you mean?
the setter themselves will have a casual conversation and just talk about something completely random. And what I mean by
Mm,
this is, let's say you send the VSL, hey, watch the VSL before the call, prepare us for XYZ. They watch the video, cool, awesome. The next thing
and
you do is ask them, hey, where are you based out of, by the way? I'm based out of China, whatever they said. Oh shit, how's China like and whatnot? Oh, it's great. Any places you'd recommend? Yeah, I'd recommend this. What happens in that scenario is the conversation goes from this person is just trying to sell me something to this person actually cares about who I am, and that's why they're having the casual combo with me. And it
nice.
helps with show up rate heavily.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree.
Is that something you guys have been doing or
No, we have not been doing that.
okay? So that's show up rate taken care of. What's the average order value on the offer?
Uh, yeah, it's basically like random because we had to offer 3K and 1500. But uh, it's safe to say that average order value is some let's just say 2K because basically Curl closed I think 3 or 4 people on 2K and then one piffed. So let's just say 2K on average.
Okay. The main thing then is like last month, how much did you guys do?
Last month, that's the shitty month because webinar was not profitable. We were getting shit lead, and then yeah, Instagram also got banned that month.
Okay. The thing is with webinars, the way that you have to look at it is where does a lot of the lead flow come from? It comes from the DMS process, DMs process, right? If you guys haven't fully maximized that just yet and gotten that process dialed in, I wouldn't
Then
be
we
looking
should not
into
even think
webinars.
about webinar. Exactly,
The thing is, you guys have the leads.
exactly.
I'm shocked, in my opinion, obviously, I mean this in a good way. I'm shocked that you guys aren't doing 40 to 50 minimum consistently every single month with the lead flow that you're getting and with the leads I've seen so far, right? It doesn't
Exactly.
look like it's a random
Yeah.
Chinese individual, nor does it look like it's a +91, nor does it look like it's a Nigerian individual coming into the inbox. It looks like qualified people. It's the setting process that needs to be dialed in, and then obviously nurturing and everything. Because like with the sales process, the post booking process is so fucking important. Especially, I get the setters I currently have on the offer. I get the leads to watch three videos. One that's 20 minute, the other one that's 15 minute, and the other one that's 20 minute. So 1 hour of content so that before they even jump on the sales call, they get closed for a 6K PIF, a 7K PIF. And this is B2C, by the way, like
Mm.
Great British pounds, which is like 9,000 US, but that comes down to a good post-booking process. But what even happens before that? Because the good conversation and you digging into their situation also carries on to the post-booking. And that's what helps them show up. The trust, the incentive that you built. The reason why people don't show up or the reason why people don't feel comfortable with telling you how much they can invest is because there's a lack of trust and lack of incentive,
Yes.
right? But
Agree.
aside from that, any questions on the feedback I've given so far, bro?
I mean, I'm soaking it all in.
No worries.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, what other bottlenecks are you guys currently facing?
Uh, yeah. So I think that's the bottleneck on the setting process. And I guess only after we fix this and get qualified call on Carol's calendar, then I guess I can properly judge if he's doing a good job or bad job, right? Because if I'm getting him calls booked with someone in from somewhere that doesn't have money, then judging based on that, it's bad, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
The other thing as well to keep in mind is like how you manage setters. Because I remember you talked about one setter that the girl who left,
yeah.
especially with DM setters, the way that you manage them is super fucking important. Because you can give them all the knowledge in the world. Like all the knowledge that I've shared with you right now, you can give it to them. But are they gonna 100% execute on it? Mainly in the right way. Not really.
Mhm.
If the management in the sense where it's like currently, how are you approaching managing the setters themselves? Like how many
Uh,
trainings are you doing a week? What does that look like?
so how many what?
How many training calls are you doing a week and whatnot?
Yes, yes. So basically, that's what I was trying to do starting today. So basically, like Monday to Friday, every day we're gonna have like 30-minute sales meeting on the morning with
You
closers
said
and setters, and then on the
give me some.
closings, what's up?
You said sales meetings 5 times a week, Monday to Friday, 30 minutes with both setters and closers.
Yes.
Well, what's the thought process behind having the closer and the setter on the same call?
It's basically because uh, yeah. So basically, I learned this from. Do you know Cole Gordon? Yeah, so I'm also like watching his sales team accelerator course, but he has a lot more on phone setter and the closing. It doesn't have shit on DM setting, right? So he's like basically like having calls daily with sales team, and that's why I'm like doing with sales team, meaning the setters and closer. Uh, so that's basically like my thought process.
I would challenge you on that mainly
Go ahead.
because um the way that the feedback that Cole Gordon gave is specific to phone setters. And if you look at phone setters and DM setters, which one is closer to the closing part? In a sense, closing. If you look at what is done, those two are basically in the same branch, but DM setting is completely different. And the other thing as well is like 30 minutes transparently is not going to be enough to get the setter dialed in like that, especially
Yes.
if you're going to be covering other topics,
Hmm.
right? Like with the training calls I do with my setters is 1 hour long, but the main thing is I'm fully focused on the DM setters and the dialers on another call or the closers on another call. And the
So
only time they're going to
basically,
meet
one
is if
hour a day for closer, 1 hour a day for setter.
yeah. I don't think cattle needs 1 hour a day, transparently. The setters need that 1 hour. And you just focusing on the DM setters on one call. Because the thing that you don't want happening is you give feedback to cattle for the closing process, and then the setter takes that feedback and implements it in the DM setting process when DMs and closing calls are completely different.
Mm.
right? So you don't, that's why Cole Gordon says get the phone setter and the closer together, because at the end of the day, they're speaking to people on the phone and they're on together. They're in a sense the same sort of element. So the feedback that you give to a closer is going to be to a degree the same that feedback that you would give to a phone setter. So that's why it works well for that scenario. But the scenario that you're currently in with the DM setter just simply doesn't make sense because one, you're going to cause confusion, and two, you're not going to be able to spend enough time with the setter themselves, the DM setter.